What's up, guys? It's Lollybag Mike here. Just thought I'd make a little video as I drive home on my way back from work. You know, I had a kind of thought for the video, and well, to be honest, I don't really have any thoughts for this video. I just kind of felt like talking to the camera and decided I'd just start rolling. You know, if you saw my last video that I posted last night, you would know that I'm in a I wouldn't say a predicament, but I'm in a bit of a transitionary stage in my life. I feel like, you know, recently turned 30. Current job is just getting a little bit too fucked up, for lack of a better word. It's funny, I was actually talking to my actually, maybe I should say that. I'll keep that one while I'm wearing my uniform. I'll keep that one to myself. But it's just interesting how similar people where you're at have the same idea you kind of do, and you might think that you're the only one that has that idea, but really it's crazy when you actually talk to people around you and you learn a bit more about each other and you get more comfortable. You actually find that, you know, your ideas aren't that unique. I mean, you know, of course everybody has some unique ideas, but the way you feel about things isn't necessarily unique. You know, and yeah, I just kind of realized that more today. But yeah, as I was saying, you would know that I'm in a bit of a transitionary period. We all go through these kind of periods in life. You know, I wouldn't say that I necessarily feel any different turning 30. I mean, I see a lot of people make videos where it's like, I don't know, things I wish I knew in my 20s. Like, I'm 30 now. Things I wish I knew in my 20s. I've always saw those videos are just so, like, you're essentially jerking yourself off. Like, I don't know. It just feels like how much more wise can you be in your 30s than you are in your 20s? Don't get me wrong. For sure, I've learned some things. And I definitely know more now than I did then. But I don't know if I'd want to make a whole video saying, oh, I'm in my 30s, do this now in your 20s, don't learn from my mistakes. It's like, how about no, don't learn from my mistakes, learn from your own mistakes. You should make mistakes. Like, you know, you should be allowed to make mistakes. You shouldn't be trying to live your whole 20s with this perfect blueprint as if, you know, listening to some advice from someone in their 30s or 40s, you're suddenly going to go through your 20s living like some perfect, non-hedonistic lifestyle. You're going to, you know, follow this perfect routine and all of a sudden in your 20s are going to be awesome. I mean, if you want to live that way, sure, but I feel like it's more fun and it's more, you'll learn a lot more just by making your own mistakes, you know. I feel like a lot of us nowadays, like I see it on YouTube constantly now. Whenever I go on there, it's like it's wave after wave of self-improvement videos, of the internet's dead videos, of all these things. And you know, maybe that's more for me. Maybe my algorithm is just tuned to that, because admittedly I do find not so much self-improvement videos, but I do find those, you know, dead internet AI videos, I find them interesting to watch. So that could be an algorithm thing, but regardless, I've just noticed there's a definite there's more of an influx of those kind of videos now, you know, whereas maybe 5 years ago it wasn't that way. It didn't used to be that way. And it's almost like, yeah, people are trying to kind of get themselves into that kind of frame of mind where it's like, okay, you know, I'm going to be perfect. I'm going to live the rest of my 20s being this, you know, perfect person. I'm going to follow this routine. I'm going to wake up at the same time every day. I'm going to work out and do this routine for the next 6 months, and then I'm going to change it. I'm going to do monk mode. I'm not going to jerk off. I'm not going to look at naked boobies. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. And a lot of people nowadays seem to think like that's the key to getting ahead. And I don't know, not to say that stuff isn't like useful. Jesus Christ, this person's going about 60 kilometers an hour. Not to say that stuff isn't useful, but at the same time, I think it's silly to expect that you're going to be perfect 100% of the time. And a lot of people, when they get in that self-improvement mindset, they say to themselves, well, if I mess up, then like everything's gone. Like all my progress is tainted. I'm an idiot. They'll beat themselves up. And I was like that for a long time. Only really until recently. When I watched Eli's video on the retard maxing and kind of doing a bit of a deep dive into the self-improvement channels and really looking at the essence of what they are, it is just like I think this is the right word, like self-flagellation. Like you're whipping yourself with the cat of nine tails if you bloody look at a porn video or you jerk off or whatever. And I don't think that doing that stuff in excess is healthy, the opposite definitely isn't healthy either. Having this kind of rigid guideline for yourself and thinking because you're young and you're 20 that you should take advantage of it while you're young, it's like, no, like life's a long game. I mean, if you're lucky, life's a long game. I don't know, I don't think it's a productive use of your time to be immersing yourself too much into the self-improvement stuff. Look, by all means, try it out if you want. Like, try the NoFap, do it. Like, I remember I had a stint when I was younger where I did the NoFap thing for about, I think it was like 62 days, like two and a bit months, a bit over 2 months of like not beating my meat, not looking at porn, none of that. And I did feel good, but I also felt really angry. Like, I remember just feeling like so full of rage, man. Like the slightest thing would set me off. I had numerous occasions where I would be driving in the car with my brother and someone in traffic would cut in front of us or they'd do something stupid and I'd instantly be winding the window down, going off my head, yelling at people in other cars and almost getting into fights, and it was dumb. Like, I look back on that and I'm like, God, I was so full of anger. And not necessarily a righteous, healthy anger. It was almost like a spiteful, hateful anger. Like, I was mad that everybody else got to jerk off, and I kind of had this holier than thou attitude where it was like, oh well, I'm not jerking off, I'm not looking at porn, I'm not doing any of this, but everybody else I see do that is like bad, like evil, like why don't these dummies open their eyes? And I don't think that's a good attitude to have. When you start to look at other people like they're less than you because of certain actions they may do, and you put yourself on a pedestal, you can only, because you're putting yourself up so high, you can only really go down from there. You can only really drop. And usually when you're in that state of mind, when you do drop, when you end up cracking and watch porn or you jerk off and you bust a nut, all of a sudden you feel like your identity's crashed because you've built your whole identity around the action of abstaining. You've built your whole identity based on the fact that you're abstaining from this action. and that definitely isn't healthy. I would argue that is more unhealthy than like occasionally beating your meat or looking at porn. Now, to be fair, I do think that porn isn't a good thing in general. Like, there's a reason that anytime, I mean, most of us probably feel this way, like us dudes, when you're done, you know, finishing the holy act of busting a nut, when you're done with that, when you've Spider-Man'd all over your wall, you know, when you're done with that act and you're still watching the porn video, you kind of look at it and you're like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, what am I looking at? Like, you know, there's this dude pretending to be a bloody mailman, and the letter went in the wrong slot, and now he's absolutely railing the hell out of this chick, like, you know, and you know, go, oh, I love it, oh, like, it's all just too much. After you're done, when you have that, you know, as I say, the post-nut clarity, you're like, this is kind of gross. And yeah, I think there's a reason for that. I don't think it's a natural thing to be able to have access to this many hot, naked women, you know? You know, medieval people never had that. You'd be lucky to see some chick's ankle. That'd be a good day. If you caught a glimpse of that ankle bone, you'd be like, hot damn. But yeah, so I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing to, like, try to not watch porn. But I don't think there's any harm if you want to beat your meat. You know, if you're doing it every day, then yeah, of course, it's excessive. And believe me, brother, I've been there. I've been twice a day. I've been, yeah. And fairly recently too. I'm not saying this as if I've conquered this, because I haven't. But I do understand more about it, and I understand what the negative effects of it are. But it goes back to what I was saying with everybody trying to live like this perfect blueprint. It's like, you're never going to find out what the mistakes are and what the consequences are of the actions if you don't participate in it, if you don't try it out and see that it's not for you. You know, the perfect example is when I was talking about my job yesterday, and the fact that I wanted to be a manager, and I got the opportunity, and I took the opportunity, and I said, yes, I'll do it, even though, keep in mind, I had no training. I had very little training, and I was thrown into the role, and most of the training that I did get on the job, like during when I was the manager, was over the phone, and a lot of it I just had to figure out myself or figure it out in the moment, and it was stressful, and it was shit, to be honest, but I did it for about 2 months. And then I realized, okay, well, I don't want to do it anymore. I've had my fun. I've tried it out. And now I know. But I never would have had that experience of finding out what it's really like if I wouldn't have at least tried it. You know, it's not to say that you need to try things and stick with them. But try it and see how it makes you feel, how the consequences of it make you feel, how the positives of it make you feel. Like, what are the positives, what are the negatives? But you're not going to figure that out unless you actually just give it a go. And I know it's scary, and I know that it can be frightening, and you can feel like what am I kind of doing type thing, you know. But at the end of the day, it's beneficial. And, you know, it can only help you out. Like, it can only end well, kind of thing, you know. Because either way, even if you don't stick with the thing, you're going to learn something. You're going to come away from it with an experience. You're going to come away from it with a better idea of what you do like and what you don't like, right? So yeah, I've just noticed a lot of that, and it's almost like people want to experience all the positive aspects of life without going through the necessary negative actions or the negative events or whatever it is that help you appreciate the positive things more. Like, you can't just experience positive stuff in life, unfortunately. If we could do that, then life wouldn't really be interesting. Like, you would just be on a constant euphoria merry-go-round, you know? It would be just non-stop, oh, this is awesome, this is great, and eventually you get tired of it. I feel like eventually you'd crave the negative. You'd almost want some negative stuff to happen, just to feel something. Because one thing you can't deny is negative feelings tend, not always, tend to be more powerful than positive ones, in terms of how they might shape you going forward. Positive experiences are good, don't get me wrong, and we should all strive to have more of them. But, you know, negative consequences, negative things are just as important for helping you grow. You know, it's the yin and the yang, the good with the bad with the good, right? So yeah, that's just what I was thinking, man. I've noticed it a lot because I do spend a lot of time on YouTube, probably more time than I should, to be honest. And yeah, I've definitely noticed a huge, especially in the last couple of years, a huge uptick in the amount of self-improvement / online business building ideas / online courses. Like, I'm sure you guys have seen it, the amount of online courses that are, or like creators trying to sell you courses. It's ridiculous. And if you look, a lot of them are trying to sell you the same shit. Like how to build an e-commerce website, all this kind of bullshit. And honestly, look, I'm sure it works for some people, but I've watched a few videos debunking that kind of stuff, and I tend to think that it's funny because the people selling you these courses will tell you how much money they've made doing all this online shit. But what you find out a lot of the time is the main way they're making the money is from selling you the exact courses that they're talking about. Like they're making their money that they're telling you that they made through all these different avenues, mainly by you buying that online course where they're trying to tell you their secret. The secret is they got an online course. And a lot of people out there will just go and spend money thinking, oh, well, this will help make me rich. And it's like, look, any information, I guess, can be positive. I won't say that, but I will say if you use it the right way, any information can be positive. But a lot of the things these people are saying you can find online for free. And they know that, but they're banking on the fact that you're too lazy to go do that research for yourself. So they're taking that information and putting it in a course. I mean, it's clever. It's definitely clever. I'm not saying it's not clever, but I just feel like there's so much of it now. It's like way oversaturated. There's a bazillion bloody online courses for everything out there now. Like, I should say, like the master classes, the business builders, the, you know, how to make $10,000 a month, you know. Look at all, and then they'll say, oh, look at all these success stories. I got all these guys, but what they don't show you is all the people that aren't successful with it. So yeah, I've noticed there's a hell of a lot of that, and I think it's also because people just don't want to really be working normal jobs anymore. They want to be able to make 10 grand a month just from the comfort of their chair. And I get it. It's appealing to be able to, you know, be in your PJs, chilling in your pajamas with a bloody cup of hot chocolate and your feet up on the couch, you know, making all this passive income. But I think number one, it takes time to get there, and number two, it's not guaranteed you'll ever get there. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people make absolute shit all money. You know, they might be lucky to make $200 in a month, because I think what a lot of these people don't tell you is that they're selling those courses that they're selling you is what's making them a good amount of money. And it's so oversaturated with courses now that if you want to make your own course as someone who's relatively unknown, you're not going to sell much. The people that are selling the majority of those courses already have a big following, and they're using that following as the leverage to help them sell more of those courses that are teaching other people how to make their own courses. And it's like, at a certain point, you can't have this many people making this amount of money. It's just not feasible, and it's just not going to happen. You know, for every 1 or 2 success stories, there's probably another 10 or 15 people that have made shit all money. But obviously they're not going to talk about those people, because that wouldn't really entice you to go buy the course. So yeah, it's another thing I've noticed. But yeah, it's just crazy how much that's blown up in the last kind of 3 to 5 years. And it'll probably continue to blow up. You know, there's a lot of AI courses now too. I've noticed that there's channels pretty much entirely devoted to making AI kind of sleep channels, which I think I did talk about in one of my previous videos, where pretty much you can go and get ChatGPT, give ChatGPT a prompt, you know, tell me a story about Alexander the Great. ChatGPT will write you a script. Then you can take that script, you can maybe edit it down a bit yourself, and then go and take all that take that script, pop it into a site like 11 Labs, where they have like all these AI narration voices, and you pretty much copy and paste your script into there, and bingo, you pretty much have an AI narrated video to help people go to sleep, or a Bible story video to help people get to sleep. And there are literal now channels entirely devoted to teaching you how to make all these different AI videos. And there's so many people now. Like, if you go do it, you do a little experiment yourself. Go type in like sleep history or history sleep, and you'll see a bunch of them. There's like a sleepless historian, there's history and sleep, there's boring history. These are all AI. These aren't people writing the scripts. These are people putting in a simple prompt and taking the script and using a computer narrated voice. They're not doing much work, really. But some of these channels have like 400,000 subscribers. They'd be making money, and now all you see on, like, if you go look at the comments of those AI videos, you will see a bunch of other AI history channels commenting on those videos. Like, it's almost just like a comment section entirely full of bots. It's fucking crazy, man. And maybe that's the future, I don't know. But I don't think it's really a good idea if you want to make decent money, because now it's just oversaturated. The few channels that have made it big have essentially, in a way, spoiled it for other people, you know? So you're not going to make much money. The market's kind of, there's too many of them now. It's so easy to do these videos that people are like, you look at the upload schedule and they're uploading a video every like 8 hours. Like, it's nuts. A normal person can't keep up with that. So it'll be interesting, man. It'll be, you know, I'll finish this video off now because I'm pretty much nearly home, but it'll be interesting to see how this kind of turns out in the future, because it's only going to get more ubiquitous. Like, it's only going to be more widespread. So yeah, maybe the future is AI. Who knows? I hope not, but you know, yeah, who knows? But that's pretty much it for me, guys. This was just a bit of a ramble video. Thought while I had the time, I'd do it and just go off the cuff, and it didn't turn out too bad. So you know, if you like listening to my ramblings and whatnot, hit the like button. Feel free to give me a little subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.